the show here. What I like to do here is do a little segment on a viewer question. So talking with one of the guys in the show just last night, as we're talking, I always talk with people about Windows mobile devices and different ways to do things on a lot of wireless telephony is kind of my number one hobby and gadget to play with. So we were talking and he was like, God, I wish there was a way that I could look up my current IP address on my Windows mobile device. And I was like, oh, that reminds me. So here it is. So viewer question, how can I look up my current IP address on my Windows mobile device? What I recommended to him is a program called VxUtil. That's VxUtil. It's a free piece of software that's a suite of network and internet utilities. It's available for Windows CE, Pocket PC, and all the way up Windows Mobile 2003, Windows Mobile 5 and 6, and all that. The product, again, is called VxUtil, and I'm going to post the link in the chat, and again, it'll be in show notes. The utilities that it includes are things like DNS audit, DNS lookup. It has Finger, it has info, it has a subnet calculator, it has, a pinger, it has a port scanner, it has all kinds of tools, but most basically, of course, it has a tool where it will just tell you what your current IP address is. Very similar to like an IP config type tool. I'm also going to mention VxUtil also has another tool that's very basic, and that's just called purely VxIPconfig, and it features things like viewing your IP address, ICMP packets, TCP, and or stats on ICMP pings, and TCP and UDP stats. It also has the ability to release and renew your IP. So let me post these two links in the chat. Again, the question was, how can I look up my current IP address on my Windows mobile device? And it looks like Echo already posted the link in the chat there. Thanks, Echo. And if you haven't checked it out, this is a tool that I've had on my Windows mobile PCs since I had my first Windows mobile PC, which was a Motorola MPX 200, probably back in shoot, I'm guessing it was, at least 5 to 10 years ago when I had my first Windows mobile PC. I think it was the first Windows smartphone that was ever released. It was a Motorola MPX 200 is the first one I had. I'm thinking that it was the first one ever to get into mainstream, but it was a sweet little gadget. And this utility, VxUtil, again, it's free for personal use. Download it, load it on your Windows mobile device if you haven't. Here's also the link to the IP config. I haven't used the IP config tool, but I use the VxUtil because I like that it has, ping, and I believe it has traceroute in there and all that sort of stuff. So check it out if you have some interest there. Run a Windows mobile device, and you could also go to IP Chicken. If you have internet access, you
What I
can
was gonna
just
say.
surf and go to IP Chicken. That's something that I use quite a bit too. So. Cool. So that was the viewer question for this week, and let me do one thing here. I'm now going to move on. So Echo, you got any other tools like that you use?
I just always go to IP Chicken.
IP Chicken, yeah. Yeah, in some cases, IP Chicken is definitely the easiest. Sometimes it's nice to go out on the internet and do it that way. Sometimes you want to look at your local IP. The VxUtil could be good if you were in an enterprise network and on Wi-Fi, and maybe you didn't have internet access. So there's some more uses. But then in that case, you're supposed to buy it, right? Because it's free for personal use, but the commercial version you're supposed to buy.
There you
So
go.
let's let me go ahead and do this. So I wanted to talk about